Good. I'll treat you to a traditional Mondstadt delicacy. Sticky honey roast. Sticky honey roast!
Welcome back to Chronexia's Cookery, the place where we do all of the weird recipe in anime and games alike, and I teach you how to do them. If you never had a parents to teach you how to cook, that's kind of my dad's stuff. So, today I decided to go ahead and do the Genshin Impact Sticky Honey Roast. It is the most iconic recipe in the franchise, and we're gonna give it a shot. Today I got a slab of ham. You gotta slap it properly, teach him who's boss, and we're gonna go ahead and give this the old college try. Now, I want to give also a shout out to a good buddy of mine, Chef PK. He also did the honey sticky roast, except he did it with a pork shoulder. If you want to check out his version of it, go ahead and have a look. He did an amazing job. And also, he did it using an oven instead of me, which I'm going to use a slow cooker, which is right there. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get it done. Based on the game's requirement to make the sticky honey roast, you only need 3 carrots, some sugar, and, well, the meat. Though I'm still trying to make an actual meal out of this, and by looking at the picture, the carrots look like potato slice, so we'll add some carbs to our recipe. So here's the ingredient we'll need for the meat side. Slab of meat of your choice, we got ourselves a chunk of Noel's cheek ham, 1 onion, 3 carrots, and 3 cloves of garlic. For the broth, you'll want a liquid. You could use water, though it's a bit bland for me. I'm going to use 2 beers. The brand doesn't really matter, but it'll pair fantastically with honey, which is our core theme here. If you're underage and you can't buy beer, try a non-alcoholic version or straight up soda. It'll pair just as well. Next, of course, is honey, some brown sugar, Dijon mustard, and for herbs, we got some bay leaves, rosemary, and savory, and some butter we'll need for the glaze at the end. Now, on the left side, for the potatoes, we got 5 ordinary potatoes, oil, salt and pepper, cinnamon, yes, cinnamon, trust me, paprika, mild chili seasoning, cumin, you know, a thing you do when you manage to bypass the blur censoring when you climb a mountain, and optionally some cayenne pepper for a kick of heat. I will skip on the cayenne pepper because even though my wife and I love it, we also served a meal for 2 toddlers and they're not big fans of that. Anyway, let's start preparing our traveler. Don't worry if you don't have a slow cooker, this recipe can work just as well in the oven, but I do, so let's use it. First off, knife to meat you. Etiquette. Start by scoring your emergency food. Ham. The final presentation in the picture shows some slices of the ham, but we're going to focus more on taste rather than presentation. Once you've made some dents in the meat, set it aside for a couple of seconds while we prepare our garlic. You'll need 3 cloves so you can start by peeling off the shell. An easy way to do it is to squeeze the bottom of the clove and stuck your nail or knife in the small opening. Alternatively, you can slice the clove in half and just remove it as easily. Doesn't really matter what you like best. Either way, we're gonna use the garlic like tiny studs, so slice them and then give them a good crush of the knife. It will really bring out the flavor. Then you just go ahead and shove them in there. There you go. Then you can go ahead and drop some Dijon mustard on top of it all. Let's move to the carrot. No need to peel them, just snip off the hand like a Jewish brit mala and roughly cut them in chunks. They'll flavor our broth. If you want to use them instead of the potatoes, I guess cut them in smaller slices? Up to you. Same with the onions. Cut in half, peel the outer layer, and cut the onion vertically. It'll make some beautiful slices when you crush them in your hand. It'll also make you feel like a giant. It's very fun. Dump everything in the vat while making sure your ham is face down so it can soak up the flavor better. Next is gonna be the best part. You want to slather that baby up like Mona's thighs. Some more Dijon mustard on the bottom, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 3/4 of a cup of honey. Sorry, I had to slow down to get that money shot right there. Now you can add the bay leaves, but make sure that you crush them in your finger instead of leaving the leaves as is. Just like the garlic, you'll get more flavor this way and some sick ASMR. Almost as good as listening to Lisa climb a mountain. Add the tablespoon of rosemary and pour your liquid on top of it all. And just like when you're on the verge of a beach and you run out of stamina, drown that baby. Please don't clip me out of context. Finally, add the savory on top and start your slow cooker. I'm going for a 6-hour roast on low heat, but again, if you only have an oven, you need about an hour 40 at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, assuming your slab of meat is the same size of mine, which was 1.4 kilogram. We got some time to kill now, so let's start working on our potatoes, which are gonna be so fantastic you'll blow any guests away back into COVID social distancing restrictions. First, start by washing them, since we're gonna leave the skin on, and then we gotta slice them up in very thick with 2 C's, chips or crisp, wherever you live in the world, I don't care. About half an inch thick. Do that for most of your potatoes and then switch to cubes instead, cause you thought variety would be cool. I don't know. Or don't. It's up to you. Anyway, put those in a big bowl mixer and we're gonna do our geobarrier on this one. 1/4 cup of canola oil, or olive oil, or vegetable, whichever, it doesn't really matter. Only kind I don't recommend is car oil. 2 tablespoons of mild chili powder, 1 tablespoon of paprika, the spice, not the movie, half a tablespoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, black pepper, about, I don't know, if you use a twisty thingy like I do, about 1 carpal tunnel and a half, and 1 tablespoon of salt. Mix generously until your hands look like you've murdered a hilichurls camp for your daily mission, again. Once evenly coated everywhere, you'll want to put these in a rim baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Trust me, use that one, not aluminum foil. It'll stick to it. And start spreading them as flat as you can. We're gonna bake those at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 to 40 minutes, which will give you just enough time to spend all of your in-game resin grinding artifacts so you can get that one with really good substats only to realize its main stat is bonus geo damage on a Thundering Fury. Thanks game, that's gonna be really useful on my ka-ching! Once your roast will be ready, or almost done, you'll want to go ahead and scoop up some of that stack you got going on. We'll make our finishing touch sauce now. In a medium saucepan, bring about 1 or 2 cups of the stocking to a bare simmer. I recommend straining the liquid first in a tightly knit colander. You really don't want to eat any bay leaves by accident. They're not really poisonous, just choking hazard. Once your liquid is simmering, we'll add another tablespoon of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of honey, and a tablespoon of butter. This will add some thickness to this otherwise soup, and stir it often to make sure your sugar doesn't burn. Once you evaporate most of the liquid out, you'll be left with this glazed texture. That's gonna go on our final piece. Just make sure to do it once everything else is ready, otherwise as soon as the heat's gonna cool off, this glaze is gonna harden up like you just walked in on Barbara changing. So you got your potatoes or your carrots ready, you can now make a bedding for your roast. Drop your Noel cheek on top of it and slice yourself a piece of that made. Add your glaze on top and let your guests enjoy a very in-time Christmas-like meal. Bon là?
Oui. Bon papa.
Oh oui, très bon.
Bon papa.
Oui, c'est très bon.
Bon péché. C'est moi, il est pire.
C'est toi qui l'as fait?
Oui, avec papa.
Comment t'as fait ça?
T'as-tu mis de l'ail dedans?
Oui.
Oui. Puis t'as-tu mis une sauce spéciale?
Oui. Pour Baba, puis pour papa, puis pour Kala, puis Biti.
C'est très bon, hein?
T'as-tu mis beaucoup d'amour?
Oui.
Bon Kayla?
Bon papa.
Oui, très bon.
Et bon papa.
Très bon.
Bon péché. C'est très bon.
In retrospect, the final result turned out quite good. All the sweetness from the honey and brown sugar really cut through the saltiness of a cut of meat like ham. You get hints of rosemary and bay leaves. It's enough to send you back to Mondstadt via teleport. But for me, the best of the best was without a doubt these potatoes. Soft inside, crispy outside with seasoning to kill for. Trust me, try them out with this dish or any other one, and you're gonna devour those by the fistful. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed Chronexia's cookery, give me a thumbs up. It shoves it up through YouTube's algorithm. And subscribe for more wacky recipes. If you want to see one in particular, put it in the comment section below. It's been delightful to read your appreciation for this new series, even though it's slightly different than the rest of the stuff I do. Keep it up, and I'll make even more in the future. As always, I love y'all times infinity.